Okay, so we're going to start with talking about the introduction. So, this is the same introduction outline that we've used all year. It should be more of a review. Now we're just looking at it as a research paper introduction. Okay, so you'll still have the same three elements: the hook, meant to catch your reader's attention, 2 to 3 sentences of background info, and paraphrase sentences with citation. Here, the citation will be important because you'll be drawing all your information from your sources, not from your own background knowledge. So, we'll include citation there, and in-text citation is going to be something that we talk about a little bit later. And then your thesis statement, the point that you're making about the topic in your category. So remember, your introduction is like an upside-down triangle, because your hook, it doesn't have to be very specific yet about what your topic is. It's just hinting at what your topic is. Your background info is introducing your topic, and then your thesis is exactly what you're talking about in your about your topic, and so it needs to be very specific. Okay, so it goes from more general to more specific, grounding into your topic. Okay, so for the hook, in any essay or story, you want to include a hook to capture your reader's attention and to make them want to keep reading. You don't have to start here when writing your essay, though. I suggest writing your thesis statement first, then going back to the beginning of your introduction and writing the hook. Sometimes it's even better to write the hook after you've completed most of your essay. That's what I would generally do when I approached writing a hook, because the hook you can be really creative with, and it makes sense that you'll be able to be more creative with it if you've already delved into your topic quite extensively and you know your topic really well. So if you're struggling with the hook at first, remember that you don't have to start there. You can always come back to it. Just don't forget to go back to it. There are, many different types of hooks, and we've talked about different types of hooks this year. And sometimes, some of them are better for certain types of essay than others. And for this one, what I would suggest you use is the surprising statement factor statistic. That would be the most, I think the easiest for this type of paper. It's the surprising statement factor statistic. Or you could set the scene using imagery, tell a brief story, or that's also called an anecdote, or add a twist to an old cliche. I think these 4 could be used really successfully with this type of essay. Again, I think if you're really stuck with trying to pick one, the surprising statement factor statistic would be really a good choice for this, because you're going to come across a lot of interesting facts and statistics in your research. So pulling one of those would be a good strategy here. Now, I have examples for all of these types in the separate document that you'll find on Canvas, called Example Newsella Hooks. So I looked at some of the most recent Newsella articles, and I found some examples that will help you out here and just give you some ideas. Just for example, for the first one, when Spider-Man's girlfriend Gwen Stacy was thrown from a New York bridge in a 1973 comic, her death was an important moment. So it catches your reader's attention right at the beginning because the death was an important moment. It's kind of an interesting twist, and you don't really expect someone to say that right off the bat. Or here it is more of a fact. On December 12, 2018, 4-person team deported from Russia's Novosibirskaya, don't judge me on my pronunciation there, base in Antarctica in hope of reaching the frozen continent's interior, by wind. So that one's a surprising fact that interests your reader off that. Or wanted, smart, fit, and unflappable applicants for humanity's first mission to Mars. Must have crazy wig, oversized boots, and big red nose. So that's just kind of a fun way to start this essay. It gets you curious about what they're going to say next, and then they're talking about how astronauts are considering including comedians on trips to outer space. So this is a fun introduction, and so you can have fun with it like that person did, and try to make something a little bit more whimsical, lighthearted. Kind of depends on what your topic is. If your topic is a really serious one, you might not want to go with that. And then after the hook, you'll do the background info, which is the bridge between hook and the thesis. After the hook, you introduce the topic you're writing about to your reader. Your hook doesn't really need to explicitly tell your reader what your topic is going to be, like I said before. It only needs to hint at it. Directly after the hook is when you want to make it more clear. Now you want to start making sure that your reader knows what your paper exactly is going to be about. You want to include basic information here. Pretend that your reader knows nothing about your topic at all. Okay? So you're simplifying it for them. You're introducing this topic to them. And then the thesis statement. Your thesis statement should be the last sentence of your introduction. Thesis can sometimes be longer than one sentence, but you don't generally want to go over 2 sentences. So the thesis should clearly state what point you are making about your topic. As with the rest of your essay, do not use I or my, any type of first person, in your thesis statement. Okay? If you're starting to go off with I think or I believe, just remove that part, and you should have a fine beginning right after that. Okay? Don't include I think or I believe. And then you'll also find these on the outline, but here are some examples for each of the categories. Remember, your 4 categories are bacteria, plants, humans, or animals. So whichever one you picked, I've included an example thesis so you can see what one thesis would look like in your category. That doesn't mean that if you chose bacteria, this is the thesis for you, because there are multiple topics in these 4 categories. So you'll have to tailor a thesis statement to the topic, the particular topic that you want to write about. So for bacteria, mine was, scientists use genetic engineering to improve people's lives by treating and curing certain diseases, okay? So specific, I'm talking about how they're going to use genetic engineering to improve people's lives by treating and curing certain diseases. Now I know that in my body paragraphs I'm going to be talking about different diseases. I'm going to be including examples of diseases that have been treated or cured using genetic engineering. But it's general enough that, I don't need to go into all of the specific details quite yet. I'm going to be doing that in my body paragraphs. Okay, and then plants. Scientists use genetic engineering to improve certain crops, in some cases preventing agricultural disasters. So now I know in my body paragraphs I'll be talking about how genetic engineering is used to improve crops, how it's used to prevent agricultural disasters, and I'll want to include examples of agricultural disasters being prevented by genetic engineering. And here's the humans one. Prompting both praise and controversy, CRISPR technology is changing what it means to be human. So the wording here leaves it pretty open, so we can go and talk about both the overall praised parts of CRISPR, and also you could talk about how, or some of the controversy. You can talk about some of the controversy of CRISPR. This thesis statement leaves it really open, which is okay when it's a research paper. You still want your own take on the topic, which I think is made clear in all these thesis statements. You still want it to be your point about the topic, but you're not necessarily arguing one way or the other if a piece of technology should be used. Alright, and then last one for animals. Scientists may someday be able to successfully use DNA to resurrect extinct species and change the way environmentalists approach conservation. So now what you'll be doing is going back to your outline and following this step-by-step process. You'll want to create your own thesis statement first, and then go back and fill in the other parts of your intro. It's best to start with a thesis statement first because that's your topic. That's your topic at its most specific, and then you can build upwards from that there. It's more like you want to build an introduction like a house. You want to do the foundation, which is the thesis, then build the middle part, which will be your background info, and then your hook on top. Okay, so good luck writing intros. Let me know if you need any help or if you have any questions. Don't forget, after you've written your intro, to delete this outline part in the examples. Okay.